We live in a world where companies are extremely profitable, yet people are living month to month, if even at month to month. Okay? And the reason why we are in this state right now, it's because you haven't cultivated an internal relationship with yourself. Whatever you think is wrong with you, first of all, that statement alone, you think something is wrong with you. So because of that, instead of searching inward, instead of trying to figure out the core cause to what's really going on, you're constantly being sold all of these things that are fixes. Okay? We take Ozempic, for example. Just stop eating and you'll get the body of your dreams. No, that's not how it works. I have lost weight in an extremely unhealthy way without Ozempic. And guess what happens when you stop eating? Guess. Your hair starts to fall out. You get hormonal acne right here that is absolutely uncontrollable. You have no energy. I was probably the most depressed. Anytime I had like free time, I was just sleeping because my body physically could not do anything. Just not eating is one of the most unhealthiest things for you. But hey, pay $1,800 for this little magic shot and you're gonna get the body of your dreams. That eye cream that tells you your dark circles will go away if you stop using our eye cream. Why don't you get some fucking sun on your skin and stay hydrated? Why? Makeup, any type of makeup problem, and don't get me wrong here, I'm not talking about the controversy of wearing makeup and not wearing makeup. I'm talking about the simple fact of using makeup to externally hide your insecurities. I personally think makeup should be used to accentuate your good features that you have. Like my blue eyes, for example, I like to put on like a little lash and some sparkly eyeshadow to make my eyes pop. Things of that nature. Makeup should be used to accentuate your features, not to hide something from the world. Do you see what I'm saying? But we live in such a state of shame. We're shameful to show our true selves. And because of that, these corporations are profiting off of us in a disgusting manner. Okay? It's time to lock in. Okay? It is time to get real with yourself, and it is time to understand what you need to be doing, how you need your internal world to work, so you stop letting the external world take advantage of you. Because that's what's going on right now. So many of us are being taken advantage of. Because guess what? The most unprofitable thing to tell someone is figuring out whatever healthy lifestyle you can live is the best thing you could possibly do for yourself. Figuring out what whole foods you can eat on a daily basis is the best thing you can do for yourself. Figuring out a form of exercise that you can do for yourself on a daily basis, best thing you can do for yourself. But nobody's gonna tell you that, because that doesn't make people profitable. That doesn't make companies profitable. That actually takes away power from the companies. When you start to realize you need nothing except the relationship that you have with yourself. When you really start to realize that, that is when you take your power back. Because guess what? Every single month after month, these companies are making more money. These companies are exploiting their employers. These companies are taking advantage of their customers. And every single month, month by month, you are living month to month. Every single month, you are looking at your bank account wondering, where did all my money go? It went to the companies that are selling you fear, greed, and shame. Okay? And I need you to get this through your head. I need you to understand how powerful you truly are, because once you do, that's when the narrative flips. That's when the script is brought back to yourself, okay? These companies only have the control that you give them, okay? And I'm saying this so you can understand that at the basis of everything, the most important thing in life that you will ever have is a healthy relationship with yourself. How do we get that? How do we get there? How do we get there when we've gone from it, when we're just sitting in a place of constantly wanting to hide, not wanting to face the truth, realizing that it takes radical accountability for where you are at. It takes a genuine want to change your life, to change your circumstance. When you realize how much power you truly have, you go from living month to month wondering where the hell your money went to looking at your bank account and being like, okay, what trip am I taking this month? You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't know what I'm saying, but hopefully by the end of this video, you will start picking up what I'm putting down, because I'm giving you sauce right now, okay? My whole entire brand, my whole entire thesis, my whole entire mission on being on the internet is to help you rekindle that relationship with yourself that has been stripped from us, taken from us. Because the second you realize, wait, maybe I don't need that extra product. Maybe I only think I need that because I've seen it pop up on my For You page 20 fucking times. Maybe I don't need that piece of clothing or whatever. Maybe I don't need that new outfit because I am on a weight loss journey and I know that I'm really going to want to save my money to buy it on clothes, on brand new clothes for the brand new body that I'm working towards. Okay, right now, I am the healthiest I have ever been. And it is because my number one priority in life is reconnecting with myself, figuring out what I do and don't like, and genuinely having the discipline to do what needs to be done for myself, not what the world is telling me to do. The world will tell you to get in that McDonald's drive-thru and eat that every single morning because, hey, it's faster to do that instead of taking time to meal prep every Sunday. The world will tell you, hey, you need to do this because you need to buy this because there's no way you can achieve this goal on your own. When you realize you can genuinely do anything you put your mind to, when you realize that any type of marketing, any type of selling of a product, it's all one big scam. It's one big scam, and they're just trying to sell you your shame, okay? And that is why this is so important. Because we live in a society that embeds shame into us It literally, from childhood to adulthood, we are living in a society that is constructed around the average human being falling to their shames. Understanding that you have the power to take control of your life. Understanding that you are the final decision maker in your life. That's what these companies don't want you to do. That's what they don't want you to know, because as soon as you figure that out and as soon as you start acting accordingly, they have no power. They have no way of controlling the consumer once they realize that. So, okay, I'm gonna go through, because all of this everything that I'm talking about is very wrapped up in health for me. And I realized going on this journey, I didn't have the answers at the beginning by any means. I feel like nobody does. But the point that I'm trying to make here is I found the answers along the way of genuinely trying to seek health for myself. I wasn't trying to seek this. When I got to a point where I wasn't trying to seek an external look, I was trying to seek an internal way of being. That's when everything started to click for me. So I have always been on the chunkier side. Like literally my whole life, I was the fat kid in school. I'm not exaggerating. I was always the fat kid in school. And it was very embarrassing, and it was very, it's heavy. It's really heavy. It's so heavy being that type of chunky kid, because one, you're very ostracized when you are the fat kid, but also it made me want to binge even more. It made me not want to eat in public. I remember, like, in elementary school, I would intentionally eat my lunch in the bathroom. I would not eat in the cafeteria because I didn't want people seeing food going into my mouth. I would always try to find stuff in the cabinets and then run to my room and literally hide in the closet while I stuff my face. And it's this type of binge eating externalized because of the amount of shame that I had over being the way that I was. And when you're a kid, part of that is completely uncontrollable, because you don't control the food that's in your house. You don't control the meals that you're given if you're eating like the public school lunch. You don't have control over that. And me personally, growing up, my mother was blind. My mother is blind. So there was no type of cooking. Okay, there was always like snacks in there, and if I got a meal, it was like McDonald's, Taco Bell, Arby's. Like I grew up eating fast food, and I'm not putting blame on anybody. I'm just stating the circumstances that I lived under. So then when I became an adult, when I moved out of my parents' house at 18, I didn't think anything of it. I literally just started being the way I was, except now I'm paying for rent and utilities and internet and my phone bill and the McDonald's every single day and the Chipotle every single day and all the food that I'm eating every single day. And I didn't have any concept of eating whole foods. So it would be like I would go buy groceries. I would try to eat whole foods. And then the only groceries that were ever eaten was the stuff that I would get to make like sandwiches, like peanut butter and jellies, turkey and cheese sandwiches. I'm not kidding. I'm being so for real. But that's how I grew up. That's all I knew. So the first time I tried to go on a health or wellness journey, the first time I tried to better myself, I was in college. And when I tell you I did not know what I was doing, all I knew was that every day that I looked at the scale was going down. And I will tell you the exact routine that I was doing. So it was during college, so I had a meal card at the time for the cafeteria. So all I was doing every single day, I would get one meal from the cafeteria. I'm pretty sure it was like a Mexican bowl or something. And I would always ask, no, yeah. It was some sort of form of Chipotle. So I was eating one of those every single day, and I was doing 2 hours of cardio. I was doing an hour on the treadmill, an hour on the elliptical. And I did that for about 8 or 9 months. And I had went from 197 to, I was probably like 200. I was 190 to 200. And I went to 135. And I remember stepping on the scale at 135, and I was like, it was weird. Because the first initial thought I had, I was like happy. And I was like, oh, like I'm skinny now. And people will start to like look at you. You get more attention when you're not so big, chunky, whatever. But I remember just this feeling of almost passing out, honestly. Like I was just so tired. I was too tired to even care what the number on the scale was. And when I tell you I had uncontrollable acne right here, it was the most, to me, I couldn't figure, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And the internet was not how it was. This was back in like 2017, okay? The internet was not how it is today. I kept like typing in my problems. My hair was shedding excessively. I could literally do this. Okay, we have like a couple strands. Before, I would do that and I would physically feel hair coming out of my follicles, and I would have like a ball of hair sitting in my hand. I was too tired, my hair was shedding, and I had all of this like horrible acne. I'm Googling these symptoms. I'm trying to figure out what's wrong with me. And the only thing that's popping up is saying, oh, this is signs of PCOS. This is signs of PCOS. So I just labeled it as that. I was like, oh shit, I have PCOS. So then what do? You go to the internet and you try and figure out what is a product, what is something that can solve my PCOS. So I bought like 5 different things trying to solve my PCOS. Nothing solved my hair problem. Nothing solved my acne problem. And I was fed up. I was so fed up, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start eating like I did before. Like I genuinely don't care. So I went back to the fast food. And I went back to that for pretty much from like that point all the way up until like 7-8 months ago. So now this is the second weight loss journey that I am on now today. I'm down 30 pounds. I am the healthiest I have ever been, and I only plan to get healthier from here. So let me break it down for you. First, this new health journey that I was on, I was trying to do it myself. I was trying to figure it out. And it was extremely hard trying to figure it out by myself. And I still kept falling into the trap of, well, if I don't know what to do, let me just fall back to my old ways. Because keep in mind, when I started eating the fast food again, the acne went away. The hair stopped shedding. So I didn't, and I got energy back. I didn't understand what was physically going on, but I was like, it doesn't matter now because these things aren't affecting me anymore. So I am trying to do this health and wellness journey on my own, and I start to notice the acne coming back a little bit here and there. And every single time I noticed that, I would immediately go back to fast food because I didn't know what was wrong. So then I took it upon myself November. I hired a trainer, and it was a 3-month program of working with him. And when I tell you, this man genuinely changed my life. He changed my life because I now have the skill set to be able to fully take care of myself on a physical level. I didn't have this skill set before I had this trainer. So he gave me a basic workout program, stuff to do in the gym, like ways to lift. He helped me with my form, and he told me, he was like, just make sure, do whatever cardio you like doing, but as long as you're getting 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day, you are good. And I'm like, okay. And then as far as my nutrition, he gave me the macros that I was supposed to be eating, and that was the hardest part for me. I never tracked a macro a day in my life. I never understood it. And I started talking to this guy. I was telling him like my past experiences, what I had going wrong, and that as soon as I felt the symptoms of like tiredness, the hair shedding, and the acne coming back, I would just completely stop and go back to eating fast food and not doing anything. And he would be like, when I told him that, he was like, that's not PCOS, okay? You weren't getting enough protein and you weren't getting enough fats. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm like, what does that mean? And so then he tells me, he's like, fats regulate the woman's hormones. So in everybody needs to be getting 0.3 to 0.5 grams of fat per body weight you are to maintain your hormones. And you need to be getting 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per body weight to maintain your muscle. So he was basically explaining to me, when I went on that first weight loss journey I went on, a majority of the weight I lost was my muscle, and I was still left with all this fat on my body. And so because of that, my body kicked into survival mode, and it started getting rid of excessive things that it didn't need. Like, your hair is the first to go if your body is in survival mode. And the acne was popping up because my hormones were completely out of whack. I was probably getting like 10 grams of fat a day when I needed to be getting 50 grams of fat a day. So going through this training process with this man was like one of the hardest things I've ever done. And in the middle of it, I'm not gonna lie, I did feel like a failure, because at the end of the program, I completely stopped and I went back to my ways. I started eating out. I wasn't counting my calories. I wasn't doing anything. I lost like 10 pounds under the training of this guy, and it was 3 months long. So that itself kind of made me feel like a failure. But I got back up and I started again. So I got back into the routine of what I was doing at the gym. And when I was in the gym this time back around, after I had felt like I failed, I was like, wait a minute. I actually know what I'm doing. I'm actually coming to this from a better point of knowing what I'm doing. And then I go back to trying to track my macros, track my meals. And I'm like, wait a minute. This is easier now than it ever has been before. And it's because I took the time to learn that knowledge for myself. And at the end of the day, the one thing I have learned from this whole entire journey is that the only thing that is important in life is your health. On an individual level, okay? Because nothing is everything seems to be a problem until you have a health problem. And I am someone who, I have always dealt with health problems. When I would have a cold, I would be down bad for weeks. And then I would still be having to go to work because I'm still having to pay these bills that I can't afford. And I'm doing it so sick and so tired and so burnt out. And I'm doing all of this because I'm eating out 3 meals a day every single day. I'm over here trying to buy a sweet treat because, oh, I deserved it. I worked so hard. I'm over here trying to make excuses for the shortcomings of what really was just not taking care of myself. And the second you really turn inward and start to take care of yourself, that is when nobody can fuck with you, okay? It does not matter. I don't care if you've lost 5 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 1 pound. If you are doing it the right way, you will start not only see the results, you will feel the results. I'm a hiker and I hike maybe like once a month, once every other month. And so there's like a few trails that I frequent, and I kind of base my health around how it feels going through these trails. Some of them are much harder than the others. I remember one time explicitly, there's this one trail, I couldn't make it. I could not make it. I had to turn around and go away. I do have a little bit of asthma and I didn't have my inhaler with me. I barely made it to the car. And a couple months ago, I want to say, a month ago, it was in March, I went on this same trail, I went on this same hike, and when I tell you, I completed this hike in record time, I literally started crying. Because I was like, the person who I was a year ago couldn't even complete this. And now I am doing this way faster than I have ever been able to do this. I'm doing this way better than I have ever been able to do this. And even with mundane tasks, like going to the grocery store and picking up a case of Diet Coke. Sometimes I used to be like, oh, that's heavy. And now I go to pick it up and I'm like, oh, I have muscle built on me now. Like, the muscle that I have, I'm actually keeping it. And it's actually working for me because I'm feeding myself properly. And the point that I'm trying to make here with all of this is just simply that your health is the most important thing to you. And once you realize how to attain your health without being sold a supplement, without being sold a shot, that you need without being sold a protein meal item that's going to change your life on this menu or whatever. Once you figure out how to attain your goal, your health goal, without any of that stuff, you realize how truly simple life is and how to get to where you want to get to in life, it's a lot simpler than what we make it out to be. Once you realize this, your bank account starts going up. Your relationship to your health and your relationship to money, they're very parallel relationships to one another. And once you gain awareness around one, it helps you gain awareness around another. And I'm saying this like from a personal experience. Like, I used to be someone who would like constantly spend at a rate way higher than what I was making. And it was like I was trying to make up for, it felt as if I was trying to make up for lost time. It felt as if I'm in this mindset of, oh, there's no point in saving for tomorrow, so I might as well live right now. But now I see it in the inverse. Now I'm starting to see that it's not that there's no point in saving for tomorrow, it's that I get to save. Because what's going to happen tomorrow? Once you really take control of your health, your wellness, your mental state of being, you realize that opportunities are endless. You realize that once you take control of your life, you become the creator instead of the reactor. You truly realize that you can cultivate whatever it is that you want, and you don't necessarily need a dime to do that. But it's completely unprofitable to tell you that. So why would anybody tell you that? I don't know, man. I hope whoever this video finds, I hope this helped you. And if it didn't help you, I don't know why you're still here. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I hope this helps you become more one with yourself. I hope this helps you cultivate an internal relationship with yourself instead of trying to seek external validation, instead of trying to seek external answers, because the answers to all the questions that you have about your life, the answer's in here. The answer is in here, and it's just waiting for you to go get it. To be still enough, to be certain enough that it will arrive on time.